Today we're getting this engine in this Z, and I'm not leaving the garage until it runs. If you missed the last video, we already did all the work to get this engine and trans ready to go in this car. All that's left to do now is put it in, wire it up, and hope that it works.
As you can see, I've got some help. My buddy Cameron came over so we can try to get this thing wrapped up today, and we were eager to get to work. A little too eager, as you'll see in just a minute.
We were making great progress. The engine was in the car. And then walked over to my toolbox, saw this sitting here. It's supposed to go in there, so it's back out.
So good.
Okay, now that can all happen again. We've got a full drivetrain in this Z. Minor setback, but we're just gonna ignore that because this is a huge win. This car has been without an engine for over a year now, and it feels awesome to have this in. All that's left now is wiring, fuel lines, power steering lines, radiator, like 100 other things. But we're doing good, making progress. This thing will run today. We've got a list. We are checking things off. We're getting close, I think.
Oh, we are.
2 hours later.
We're moving right along. As you can see, everything's bolted in. We are at the point of putting fluids in this thing, which means getting the drive shaft in so we can fill the trans up. Time to put some oil in this. Drop a guess down below how many leaks we're gonna have. I'm saying 0. I think everything's gonna be good here, but we'll find out in just a few. Get some fluids in this, hit the key, because it's gonna start. I'm not doubting it, it's gonna happen. I got a cheap little hack for you guys here. No one can deny the convenience of these Valvoline squeeze bags when it comes to putting gear oil in a transmission, but they're expensive, like double the price of this really cheap stuff. So I just buy one and then I keep the bag and refill it with the cheap stuff. Keep using it. Is that budget genius or like total hack and I should just not be so cheap? Or maybe Valvoline should just sponsor me. Like, I'm definitely as cool as TJ Hunt.
Sponsor me too, please.
All right, it's the moment of truth. Still a lot of stuff not hooked up, so if it does run, it probably won't run perfect, but I think we're at the point that we can crank it and see if it's actually gonna work. Let's hook up the battery and give it a shot. Battery's hooked up, we're gonna hit the key and see what happens. Don't hear a fuel pump, but the radio works. Okay, that's a good start.
She turns.
I don't hear any fuel. It lives and sounds all right. Got our intake on kind of semi-temporarily. Mass airflow hooked up, so it should rev a little bit better now. Let's give it a shot. Okay, it actually sounds worse. What a day. I have to give a huge shout out to Cameron, who came and worked the entire day with me. It's 7:30 at night now. We started at like 10 in the morning. And the fact that we now have a running Z is amazing. Yes, it doesn't run great. Still have issues to troubleshoot. I think we've got some vacuum leaks. Definitely have some bad gas. I think we're almost out of gas. And might have an issue with the MAF sensor, crank sensor, whatever. All normal first startup things. But to get a first startup hear the engine actually run, know that it's okay, and just know that there's an engine in this car for the first time in a year and a half, almost 2 years. Feels amazing, and I'm definitely feeling a whole lot better about this project. It is really coming together now, and we did it. I said at the beginning of this video, I'm not leaving the garage until this car runs, and it ran, and I am so stoked on that. And I'm super thankful to Cameron for coming over and helping. Shout out to him, because I definitely couldn't have done this alone. We thrashed on this thing all day, and the hard work paid off. We were both so excited when we heard this thing actually fire up and hold the idle and run for a little bit. It's a great feeling. We're gonna call it a night here. I'll catch up with you guys in the morning, and maybe we'll dive into some of these issues and see if we can't get this car running a little bit better.
Tomorrow.
Well, we know the car runs, but we don't know why it doesn't run great. So we're gonna do what I always do, start with the simple stuff and work from there. Now I know this thing has pretty much no gas in it. Assuming the fuel gauge works, it's basically below empty. So we're gonna start with the easiest thing, put gas in it. From there, I can verify that the fuel pump's working, because I wasn't really sure that I heard it or not. So let's go to the gas station, throw 5 gallons of fresh 91 in this thing, see if the fuel pump is even working and if it makes a difference. $37 later. All right, we put gas in it. Let's see, A, if the gas gauge works, and B, if we can hear the fuel pump. I pulled out some of the trim so we can kind of get better access to it. Hopefully hear it. You may also notice the really annoying beeping because the key's in the ignition. That wasn't happening yesterday, so maybe that's a good sign. We got a little more gas now. I did hear the fuel pump prime. You heard that little noise? I don't remember how long the factory fuel pump. Oh my gosh, just kidding. The AC is going crazy because I don't have the climate control plugged in. Hold on. I was putting some of the interior back in, which meant this little climate control module box, but I didn't plug in the actual controls, so this thing just went full blast and blew a bunch of dust in my eyes. Okay, we got this guy plugged in. Let's see what happens now. All right, well, that's weird. Yesterday, it was at least kind of sputtering and I was getting it to idle, just not for long. Now it won't even start. As you can hear, it's just cranking and cranking and cranking and nothing's really happening. I do hear the fuel pump priming, and when I stop it from cranking, like turn the key off, I can hear it still trying to prime. So that makes me believe that the fuel pump's okay, and it definitely smells like gas. It still smells like old gas, but that makes me think that we're getting fuel to the rail. Whether or not all the injectors work, I don't know. But even if half the injectors weren't working, it would still try to fire. It makes me believe we've got another issue going on. Okay, I've been messing with this thing for a while. Really haven't made any progress, but let me at least run you through some of my ideas. Maybe you guys can put in the comments if I'm like way off or if I'm onto something, because I know somebody out there knows more than I know about 350Zs, VQs, and the nuances of these things and the little sensors and what could stop it from starting. Now, one thing I did look at was the security light here on the dash. I messed with the key here. I know the factory NAT system or security system can't interfere with the car starting. It can do a crank no start, but generally you wouldn't get hinting of starting. And I'm still kind of getting a little like spark and stutter every once in a while. So I don't think that's it. Usually when the security system's active, it will just not do anything. I think it like ultimately cuts spark to everything. So the next thing, and I think this is the more plausible thing, is the crank position sensor, because cranking, I don't see the tach moving, which would mean there's no RPM signal, I think, unless you just don't get an RPM signal until the car starts. That part I'm not sure about, but it would make sense, and here's why. So if you don't know, the crank position sensor lives in this hole here, in between the trans and bell housing. This is our connector. It's pretty hammered. And the sensor that was in here broke in half. So obviously I threw it away and put a different sensor in there. But I don't remember if we got our first start with the broken sensor like balancing in there and maybe it picked up a signal, or if I swapped it before we put the motor in. I don't really remember how that went. But either way, I took it out to just like look at the sensor, because it was a used one. It was something I used to carry in my parts bin when I had the VQ race car, just as a backup, because those are notorious for failing. But maybe it wasn't good to begin with. It was used, it was dirty. So I just ordered a new one of those. It won't be here for like 4 days, of course. But there's a couple other things I think we could look at before that sensor comes in and either confirms or doesn't that that was the issue. There are some other random things like this grounding strap back here. This guy bolts to the headers, and I don't know where it's supposed to go. If there's like supposed to be something along the side there. I don't really know what we're missing, so I'm gonna rig up something so we have that chassis ground. But surely one engine ground wouldn't stop this thing from running, especially if it ran once before. And our very first startup, the MAF was unplugged. We actually didn't have an intake at all. That's the only thing that changed from it running and kind of stumbling versus it really not staying running at all. So I've unplugged the MAF, tried to crank it, nothing changed. So I don't really know how that's related, although it's kind of got to be related. If it worked when there was no intake and then we put the intake on, it hasn't worked. So I don't really know. I am at a loss here. This is not my strong suit, is troubleshooting weird electrical things, but I'm giving it my best. So I'm going to keep digging into this and hopefully find something that makes sense.
The next day.
Okay, I should be editing this video so I can get it out to you guys, but our sensor showed up a day early and I'm not going to let this thing sit on my desk. We can throw it in the car and see if it's going to fix it. I also got that little ground strap figured out. So if that does anything, at least it's connected. All right, let's see if those two things made any kind of difference. I hit the key here and cross my fingers. Okay, that's better than it was before. Still kind of starting and dying, but at least it started. Oh, okay, we have RPM signal. That was the first time that's moved. That's promising. Check engine light. Like, are we that good? Okay, now we can end this video on a positive note. In just one day, we turned this shell into a running car, and over the next day or two, actually got it running pretty good. Happy to say that it's got good oil pressure, it sounds healthy, and I don't think we have any leaks. But we are still a long way from having fun with this thing. I've got a lot to do before I can even think about driving it, but maybe I should do the next video the same thing. I'm not leaving the garage till it actually drives. We'll see. I've got to think about that one. I've got to order a bunch of parts because we are missing quite a few things to get this thing actually drivable, and I need to make a full exhaust. Let me know if that's something you guys want to see in a video. I'm going to throw together a budget-built exhaust just using some stuff I have laying around here and a couple things I found on Marketplace for super cheap. So if you want to see a full video on that, let me know. Otherwise, I'm just going to throw it together and it'll be like a quick little montage in the next video. But either way, this thing is going to be back on the ground driving real soon. I'm stoked on the progress that this car has made in the last couple of videos. Hopefully you guys are too. Let me know down below. Thank you as always for watching. Make sure you're subscribed, and I will see you in the next one.